special good morning to one and all, and thank you so very much for joining me this morning. If it's Sunday, it's People's Voice right here on 102.7 1300, or you might be more familiar with it as PJD2. Yeah. And basically, the topic of discussion this morning have a lot to do with the very owner of the station, who is going to play a indirect role of sorts in the discussion today, because he has his dad, I believe, whose series was named after. And while I'm joined by the folks who will be putting on this to make sure that everyone in St.Maarten is aware that they have committed themselves to playing their part on an annual basis when it comes to the Lionel Bernard Scott Memorial Lecture Series that is held just about every year here on St.Maarten. What it means to us? Well, I think one of the things that would be coming out of the discussion this morning, as we fill you in as to when it would be happening, and so you would want to be part of it, is the topic, which have a lot to do with language. In any case, we will fill you in momentarily. But while I'm at it, I want to say a special good morning to my brother who have just walked in. Yes, he is my brother from another mother. And we basically grew up together on Bush Road, so I ate from his mom's pot. So I think in that regard I can say he's my brother. And also he's joined by his sister, which is the one behind making sure all of this thing happen on an annual basis. Folks, we're talking about the Lionel Bernard Scott Memorial Lecture Series that is supposed to be held this week coming. And the topic is the power of language in shaping cultural identity and strategic role in social cohesion and economic development. Folks, I read a book about one St.Maarten gentleman, and I can confirm that he's a Romney. So that only to let you know that that is a St.Maarten name. No questions asked there. Who survived in a concentration camp purely because he was the official translator for those folks who were around and can speak no other language but their language. But here he comes right in the middle that is able to say what they are saying, and as a result survive being harshly punished, like most of the people who were in those concentration camps. I just bring that up because the issue is going to be language today, and yeah. Okay. I'm laughing because I'm so accustomed to saying Glenda. She is making sure that I know it's Glendalyn Holiday. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for coming in. Good morning, Claire. Can I call you Claire?
Sure, you may.
Or should I say Clayton?
As you are rightfully disclosed, we are brothers from another mother, and we sincerely appreciate it. And by extension, Daddy took a greater role in the whole development of things.
He never beat me, though.
No, definitely not. He wasn't the one to really share the belt, but he took privileges from you.
But he gave some guidance in my life that I can attest to today. All right. Congratulations. You kept everything going when so many things are changing, Glenda. And I think it is important that you let it be known. And I mentioned at the top that it's somehow associated with us here with PJD2 because the owner or the proprietor of this business, which is Mr. Don Hughes, is the son of L.B. Scott. Just so that people, are aware where the connections are. And so I'm happy to at least share this information with the public as to what you're doing. But this is a heavy topic. And before we get into the topic, this, you say, is the, how many?
24th.
The 24th. This is the 24th lecture that is being held consecutively, with the exception of, did you do so in the time of COVID?
Oh, yes, we did. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Wendell, for once more, allowing us to join you on your program. It is the 24th annual lecture series. We did not take a break during the COVID or any other time. On the contrary to that, we went online. Yeah, we had 2 sessions online. And that had a very huge following because, when you go online, you also open up to the whole world.
Yeah.
And people all over the world from St.Maarten, from the Caribbean, called in. We had Mr. Reverend Dennis Baptist, and we had Mr. Jean Arnel from the French side, 2 very, prominent, well-respected men from the younger generation who are making an invaluable contribution to St.Maarten. So, for the record, the original coordinator of the program is Dr. Randers Eugene Holiday, who is the former governor, and then afterwards, when he became governor, then Clayton took over as the coordinator, and so you all know how Dr. Randers Eugene Holiday is. We have to continue, and it is a great pleasure to every year bring an educational, cultural, political, or other type of lecture. And we give kudos to all of those who may not be here anymore, but they still come up. Like I'm here looking at Mr. Van Gie's son. He has Mr.
Grandson.
His grandson.
Yes.
All right. Okay. His grandson. I always hear him on the radio, and it brings pride in you to see that the offsprings are contributing again to this radio station, because Vance James Jr. and Mr. Don Hughes are the founders, or those that walk the path, so that we can have a station like this, like the States. You can't maybe you just can't meet the standards of PG82, not insulting anybody else, but at the end of the day, it is a good example to follow.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at some of the names of some of those persons, because you mentioned just a moment ago about some of whom we've lost. I know Camille Bailey, yes, he was one of the speakers, and we've lost him, Vance James Jr. as well. But there were others, Attorney at Law, Mr. Richard Gibson, Eugene Holiday, B. Holiday, former governor, Dennis Richardson, former governor.
Lieutenant.
Jan Bijon, we have lost him too. Mr. Maxoud, Michel Petit. No.
Jan is with us.
Jan is still here.
Jan is still with us.
Jan is still with us.
Yes.
Who was I looking at then?
It's okay.
But these are some of the names
in the early stages of the
who see this lecture as not only important, but to help chart the course of where we need to be heading when it comes to the contribution that you're making as PMIA.
That's true. And just the other day, as I was discussing with preparing the program, I fell on the one from Attorney at Law, Mr. Gibson, and his message was the state of affairs of the Netherlands Antilles back then. That was in 2004. Today can be characterized as the worst times, but also the best time. And if you really look at that, or if you had an opportunity to buy the booklet, it really is very thought-provoking, because it makes you as a citizen try to think, how do you put that thought together in terms of where St.Maarten was and where it is today. And even sometimes when I'm listening to Bob Marley songs and to Peter Tosh or to Jimmy Cliff, who, you say those people had a foresight. Because what they were singing about, the lyrics, you can see it now coming to fruition, manifolding itself in the society of today. And saying that, having Clayton here as the coordinator. He's not an educator in a strong sense, but he works in an educational institution. Mm-hmm. It brings you to look at how can we, each from wherever angle we are contributing, make good use of it to enrich the knowledge of our citizens, be they primary school children, be they secondary school children at university. And even people will say, oh, y'all old, we don't see it like that. We have a different way of doing it. The reality is, whether you can relate to how we would say things or do things.
No. The past is just as important.
Yeah, the past is important.
Yeah.
So we are really happy and proud that with the assistance of the board members, Dan Hughes, Dachia Scott, and Pantaflet, and Fina Delane, because there's 5 of us right now on the board, to keep working with Clayton and anybody else who wants to offer programs in the PMIA, because a lady asked me the other day, what's the meaning of PMIA? It's Phillipsburg Mutual Improvement Association. We know there are all discussions about the word Phillipsburg or whatever, but at the time and up to now, the building is still situated in Phillipsburg.
And Phillipsburg was a town.
And Phillipsburg is the capital of the town. And when we have discussions, we always look at how forward thinking was Mr. L.B. Scott, the Cooks, those guys, all of those from those days, because as you read the story, the history, you will see that they are offshoots of the UNIA, United Negro Improvement Association. And the other day I was talking to Clayton, and he had such a nice way of explaining it. And I think I'll give him the floor now to give the connection between the UNIA and the PMIA, because I believe people have to understand, you have to know who you are to be able to become the best of yourself.
Today.
Yep.
With that said, you might as well give the definition, or your version of the definition of both PMIA and what's the other one?
UNIA.
UNIA.
Yeah.
From my perspective, we looked at the brilliance of my grandfather back then. A leader by choice. It was in his nature. As we have many years declared what he stood for, he basically looked at his people and realized, I am certain that my people will not be happy to be referred to as Negroes. Therefore, he did not use the word Negro in this context.
Okay.
And he basically conceptualized the idea of saying, let's make it something that belongs to the people, and he named it after the capital of St.Maarten, thus not exposing his people to that negative connotation, that as a black person you may not have any kind of rights, but you're just fighting for rights, but you have rights in St.Maarten. And he stood for the fact that his people must be resilient, proud of themselves, and stand up for what they believe in. Thus, he veered away from the Negroes concept. He named it after Phillipsburg, basically taking it back to the people whom he was representing.
You mentioned Phillipsburg, and there's a contemporary belief that exists today where some people even want to get rid of Phillipsburg because they say it was named after who?
It was named after John Phillips, who was basically a settler here from the Netherlands.
See what I mean?
And of course, we can go ahead and try and erase all historical ties to our mother country. We still are part of the kingdom.
Yeah.
And it is vital for us to also live into the concept. Of course, we don't have to live within the mindset of a deprived people or a suppressed people.
Yeah.
We got to believe in ourselves. And right now, as we can look at it, we look at the diaspora of the St.Maarten people. It's basically a constitution of regional people that took settlement in a country where they took pride in basically living for the country in which they gained their income.
And built
it many hands. I mean, our forefathers as well. If you look at the St.Maarten of then to the St.Maarten of now, where jollifications basically predefined and actually set the destination for our people. That we help each other become what we are today.
Correct.
And today now, though, despite it all, we have become a real capitalistic concept where there's no jollifications going on, anything being done, it's about the dollar. So when we look at it, we basically need to go back to the principles of this PMIA, right? Friendship, love, and unity, where then we need to also help purport ourselves and our family members and our regional people to the next level.
There's no need for us to engage in this kind of confrontation when it comes to what is and what shouldn't. And I know you're thinking something, Glenda, because I can see it in your head. You want to add anything? What did I say? I see it in your head.
Yeah, that's what you said. I was just
I see it in our head. I can
see in your face that you want to make a statement in regards to the so-called contemporary way of thinking, where some people are even wanting to disassociate and change because they don't think it belongs and that kind of stuff. But Phillipsburg was appropriate at the time, to bring it home that it shouldn't just be a demeaning statement of Negro, but something that we all can associate with.
That's true. And Clayton have explained it perfectly. I don't really need to add anything to that. I just would like to hope that as each of us in our own areas of expertise or volunteerism would be able to utilize knowledge from the past, knowledge from now, because a lot of people now are writing books, a lot of people, and I think I have to really compliment my people of St.Maarten, because only by writing and documenting can our youngsters or even us learn something. Every time you go out or you visit a museum or you visit a specific program, it's constant learning. As you know.
While you're on the topic, I wanted to factor this in because you produce a booklet every year that document what was said at the lecture series. So if someone have interest in wanting to know about any of these topics that were once lectured on, it's available. Yeah,
we still have some books. And actually, one of our goals late last year and after the last program was to have those booklets that were not yet printed, because as organization, you go through some challenges. But we have been luckily introduced to someone by the then head of culture department, Ms. Clara Reyes, to get in touch with a gentleman who is right now in the process of helping us to secure a grant to print all the booklets that have not been printed. We were hoping to have it done for this lecture, but it didn't go ahead. So we are working towards next year, God Spare Life. Next year we'll be celebrating 25 years of the lecture series, of the L.B. Scott Memorial Lecture Series. And we had a meeting, a board meeting, and if we get through this year, we will see if we're bringing a special program or if we will leave it till next year. And as you said that, somebody asked me, because some of the books are also by Van Dort, the reality is that we have to stop, I would say, personally, stop denying ourselves from enriching our knowledge. You don't have to have been born here. You don't have to have been part of an organization. If anybody know me or those who know me, it doesn't matter to me which organization exists. I think we are part of this community and one person can't do it alone. And I've said to many people over the years, the PMIA from 1932, whatever it is, had their way of doing things. We cannot deviate from the the Constitution. We can review the bylaws, and we are also looking for people with that kind of knowledge to assist us this year to make sure we upgrade those. But we have to stick to the core values of the PMIA, and then we have to make sure that persons understand that as an individual, the strength lies within you and with who you associate with. And don't take a comment from somebody and make it alive. Yeah. Whether I'm saying, like, last week I was on another program and I tell people, my mother and my father, we always were very proud to let people know our background, in the sense that my mother was born and raised in St. Kitts. My father was born in Santo Domingo when Elvis Scott and my grandmother was there working in the field before he come back. But then my father, when his mom reached back, who again was from Nevis, settled on the French side. Is it the northern?
Yes. Northern side, yes.
Yeah, the French side, where he was educated in French. So here, me and my siblings, we were educated on the Dutch side.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, I always used to tell my students, it doesn't matter what language your mom or your dad speak. My mom used to tell me that. You're the one sitting in the chair. Yeah. You got to take it in and do something.
Are we denying the luxury of diversity that is available to us, and trying to do what with it?
Yeah, so
I make mention of that gentleman, that Romney. I don't know if you
I met his daughter.
His daughter,
because when I was at the library,
yes,
as the director of the library, I had a few sessions with her, and when she launched her book, she also came in and we had a session with different people.
Yeah.
Again,
she talked about that gentleman's story.
Yes.
Went all to Santo Domingo, to Curacao and Aruba. Then, as a young player, ended up on a ship that wandered all the way to Europe, and then from... Come on.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's a good thing he was so well-versed in languages, because that's what got him, that actually saved him, let me say that.
Yeah,
understand?
Save his life.
And that's why today, it's important that we really stress the power of language.
That's a good way to segue, Clayton, to the topic, which is the power of language in shaping our cultural identity and strategic role in social cohesion and economic development. Quite a mouthful, but I think the important part is the power of language.
Indeed, having played sports at a certain level, it was indeed prevalent that you learn and grasp the language in order to be able to contribute and understand your role within the group. Because once you cannot understand what people are saying, you will not be able to adapt. But it's also more important when the leader can really explain themselves in a language that is comprehensible by all that is involved. And when we look at our development as a St.Maarten, a country with so many different nationalities, so many different influences, it is imperative that we understand what the people at the counters are basically explaining to you when you are granting service. Now, we are a service-oriented community, and in that context, the PMI is being the civil servant in terms of getting the information to people by through the voices of these persons that are so eloquently developed, and is not afraid, and are not afraid to really share their knowledge, but also in a language that is understandable by all, because as we know, we are using the international language of English. And that's what makes it so important, so emphatic, that language denotes how far the message reverberates, and that the people can then basically join in, because it gives them a chance to really basically gel with us and gel with St.Maarten, because it is a land that basically attracts almost every nationality in the world right now.
So I suppose the person who is going to be giving the lecture has some linguistic ability too as well then.
Yes, Miss Dr. Anders Linda Richardson is a linguist and has done her share of contributions throughout the region, within the Netherlands, Europe, and the Antilles in particular. Because looking at looking at her background of having been a contributor to the Papiaments being a language of within the educational system in Curacao, that tells you how far she has gone. Because we know we'll say Papiamento is a bush language, just like we'll say Saranantongo is a bush language, but it's now structurally a recognized language by which they're using to really educate their children.
Yeah, it is in book. For those who don't know, it is in book form.
So, yes.
And if I can add, right now, if you were following Dr. Anders Linda Richardson, has just succeeded within the legal system to make English the language of communication to those settings. For so many years, people have been talking about the verdicts and all of those things are in Dutch. And in her latest book that she wrote, and in other initiatives throughout the whole, obviously Dutch Caribbean, and when she used to live in Spain and all of those places, you see she saw the importance of clear communication. Comprehension is important. And a lot of times people don't understand. You could say you speak in English, or you speak in Dutch, or you speak in Spanish. But if the person you are having that interaction with cannot comprehend what you're saying, you're actually contributing more to the confusion. And we have to give her really a lot of credit for pushing forward, because we know all of us go through our different challenges in life. So we are very excited or looking forward.
She's an official translator too, right?
Yes, she is.
From Dutch to English for many people who on occasion have to.
And if you want to know more, you'll have to come and hear her lecture. Sorry.
It's important that we emphasize the importance of joining the group, being part of it, and experience it for yourselves.
What do you speak to people who see other languages as not important?
Well, that in that context, we basically carefully I'll state this. It all stems back to education. What do you really want to learn? Where do you want to reach? And how do you want to be part of the whole? Education denotes where people reaches and how they will fit within the context of things. So don't limit yourself, as my sister Glenda just said. You need to open your minds, be part of, join wherever you may feel comfortable. Do not look at the individuals in the group. Look at what you want to achieve for yourself. Yes, we have people that may speak in a language that you might detest to some degree, but it's important that if you learn languages and you learn to develop yourself, like for example the PMI, as a young boy, it really taught us of getting the message over there in a language that people understands and people appreciates. So if you are joining, remember it's also your role to also reshape, revisit, and restructure the way we get the messages out there. And then it goes back again to we are slightly and principally moving from UN to PM, because we wanted people to feel a sense of belong. Don't feel like a lost leg. It is important that you really anchor yourself within the context of the situation.
Allow me to take a break. I'm hearing the music in my head, which tells me that it's time for me to take a break. This
That is
is
some fun.
people's voice, and we're here every Sunday. I'm happy to have this discussion with both Clayton Holiday along with Glendolyn Holiday. And I have to make sure that I say Glendolyn's name correct. They're talking about what would be happening this coming Wednesday evening, and we'll talk some more about how you can be a part of it and expose yourself to this the subject of the power of language and how it shapes our cultural identity. We'll take a quick break, folks. When we come back, we'll continue. And welcome back to our discussion this morning on People's Voice. I'm here with the voice of the people. I'm talking about the PMIA Association, which is responsible for putting on the Lionel Bernard Scott Memorial Lecture Series every year. And we touched briefly on some of those topics that were given at the time, and they are continuing today or this week. It would be centered around the language and how it shapes our cultural identity and our social and cohesion and economic development. It's a lot to take in, yes, but I think the emphasis is primarily of the power of languages. And Glenda, you may help me here if I might be a little weak in defining the most important part of the topic that would be featured. And then you have decided to have Dr. Anders Linda Richardson be the guest speaker, and I know what she does in this community. She works in the courthouse and help folks to understand who don't understand the language, whatever has been spoken. So at the end of it, the message is clear for everyone when we think of language.
Yes.
And being diversified in some areas where you can speak another man's language is not a negative, but it's a big plus. And if we can get our people to realize that this is something that we should take full advantage of, it makes me personally, if I'm going to put myself in the mix, feel that I did myself a disadvantage. I should have been able to speak French a lot better than I do, because it's right next door. And they use it over there, you know? Mm-hmm. So a little bit of Dutch, well, okay. Rapimento, English, Spanish, I helped myself a little bit. I should have been able to say, I can do more in French. And then I look at, this is something to be proud of.
Yeah, there is still time, because I believe the whole new developments in terms of technology, and there are.
But I'm looking at the educational system.
Yeah, I know, but as an educator, not everybody grasps everything at the same time. But what I'm trying to say here, because of the accessibility that we have to our computer and the World Wide Web, at some point in time, you have to take responsibility and accountability for your own progress.
Yes.
And so that's why I said there is still time. I'm sure we hear about stories, people 80, 90, 70 something still getting a bachelor's degree or a high school degree. Mm-hmm. So your employer, or your mom or your dad or your spouse or your partner or whoever, they will contribute, or they should contribute towards your development. But at some point in time, when you look in that mirror, you have to look at yourself as to what else can I do to make myself a better place. So when it comes to languages, I really believe that even though our school system goes through some changes over the years, but as I would tell some of the students when Clayton, myself, and other young people of St.Maarten left St.Maarten, we didn't have WhatsApp, we didn't have internet. We had to write a letter. We had to wait for a letter. Mm-hmm. And when you see a telegram, it was a telegram?
Yes.
From Mr. Jacobs, so reach. And when you say Marty, you get scared, because then it's an urgent message.
Urgent message.
I remember we used to go by Lance Radio that time.
Yes.
And then you had to go into the little hawkers to make a call overseas. Mm-hmm. So I believe accessibility to programs is much better now.
Yeah.
So, and we have a whole full day, well, those of you or them that are still working, you work 8 hours, you may be part, we recommend people to be part of a non-profit organization or an organization, but then carve out at least an hour per day to develop yourself. As I say, once a teacher, always a teacher. I'll be a teacher. But going back, I do have to say that you did point out the main part of this lecture. I've heard comments like, "Oh, that's a long topic," but that's why you choose educated and people who knows how to bring things together to a point where the audience can understand what it is. And honest, you've been to some of the programs, haven't you?
Yes, of course.
And how would you describe the atmosphere during that time? I'm asking you, I know you interview,
but no, the last one really strikes me a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because I too been involved in video news for a long period of time, could have relate to what Mr. Photogums was given. And the thing is, I still have a passion for photography, but nowadays, because of the accessibility of cell phones and smartphones and that kind of stuff, some people think that is the easiest way to get their pictures, and you'll see more of that than anything else. But when you look at those images that he had from back in the day that he himself used to watch, I was flabbergasted, really. And the atmosphere was, when it's done, it was like, it was just satisfying.
Yeah.
Very rewarding. Hence, I think if anyone has any idea about languages and whether or not they're doing themselves a disservice when it comes to languages, or whether they don't think it's necessary, I think this is the kind of setting for them to be in if they can only make it to that lecture.
Yeah, and you interact with a cross section of people. And over the years, I was really happy that Photogums accepted, because you say, Glenda, I don't do them kind of things, But
that's not part of it.
We go back a long time. His mom was a staunch member of the PMIA in the days.
Okay.
And then prior to him, we had Mr. Tadjo Vervoet that spoke about global warming.
Yeah.
So a topic that keeps coming around. We had Apostle Dr. Napolina Richardson, who we know is not, is going through her struggles, and she spoke about the history of slavery. And a lot of times we get all caught up in these things, but get the real information. And Mr. Jean Arnel, from the French side, St.Maarten brightest when it comes to digitalization, and Anastasia Baker, who spoke on the importance of entrepreneurship. So we really look into the community and bring current topics. And I'm hoping that whoever is hearing this, or if somebody tell you, yes, the place, if you can't find a seat, you stand against the wall. You lean against somebody, because at the end of the day, we have to come together. And that's the whole purpose of offering these lectures. And we hope one of these days we could take these lectures directly to the schools, because these presenters don't charge us for it, and they allow us to print what they say so that we can get some funds to keep the program going. And for that, I'm grateful, even if we didn't call your name today, for what you're doing for St.Maarten. And I would tell teachers, a lot of teachers talk about things are different, but as a teacher, as an educator, what we have to understand that every educational program or project you bring is for the further development and enhancement of that student which was entrusted in your care. It doesn't matter what role you play, manager, board, whatever. At the end of the day, what is the end product?
I think it is safe to refer to them as piece of the puzzle that complete St.Maarten for what it is.
Yes.
And we all play our role.
Yes,
Might
we
be
do.
different, but it's necessary. Clayton, anything you would like to add to that?
Well, as a coordinator, first and foremost, I go back to the open invite to one and all that we will endeavor to start on time, 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the 28th of February, noting the person that we are commemorating, that he stood for discipline, self-respect, and self-development. However, in that respect as well too, yes, we ask that you dress appropriately because it is a coming together of people that is gathering and garnering knowledge. And going back then to, so in that regard, all is free and welcome to join us. However, I'll go back to basically the title of the program, The Power of Language. When we go to church or we go to work and certain documents are shared, many people will say, bring it to me in layman's terms. That is where the emphasis lies. Being able to speak to the people in a language that they understand. Just like you go into class. If a teacher is explaining a subject, there's no question that is foolish. And that night we have a question and answer series, so we will like everybody that comes in, for as much as the time permits us, to participate in the discussion to make it a lively and an intricate exchange by the presenter and the people that are in the public. In this regard, then I say still we will still be following, and we hope to do it the way we did it in 2020 and 2021, online.
Yes.
That the multitude of people can still chime in and enjoy the privilege of these presenters that, as the president is saying, that are giving this knowledge and exchanging and giving their knowledge and exchanging for free.
Yeah.
That you get the best of it while it's available.
You made mention about the question and answer session. I think that's an important part because based on the presenter's delivery, you're saying that those who attend have an opportunity to ask questions, whether it's a critical look at the whole idea of languages and the role it plays in our economic development.
Yeah, it can become very interesting in that sense that we will have most likely educators in the pavilion that can ask a question or two, or maybe shed some light on the shortcomings of the way teaching is going on in St.Maarten. And teaching at this level, this is a program that allows you to be taught by those that have achieved and are open and willing to share. So that's what the question and answer series is about, that you can really engross yourself in for that moment and time with the person. You may not have ever seen them or had a privilege to speak to them in person, but this affords you the opportunity to at least hear for yourself. Don't form no opinion, come open-minded, and take in the information that will be shared. And I am more than confident that Dr. Glenda Richardson, our linguist, will give you what you're looking for. A good surprise, thought-provoking, and conscious awareness moment where you can then really look within yourself and see what's there in it for you. But at the same time, this is also an open invitation for membership to the PMIA. Because this is a forerunner. I mean, not to really knock on anybody. You have the Toastmasters, you have the Young Rotarians. Those are the same programs in a way.
Yeah.
And not putting down anyone.
Self-development.
It gives you a chance to learn to develop and speak for yourself. Don't sit down and believe and say. And I mean, we heard it just now in discussing photogums. Our big brother, a local developed professional who was scared to even dare put into words his experiences. But at the end of the program, was glad that he was availed the opportunity to express to the people the joy he lived in becoming who he is today.
Yeah.
What about the books that you have at currently? Would any be available on that night?
Yeah, we will have some of them there. Yeah. If you're interested in purchasing them.
And they're booklet forms. They're not very big.
No,
so don't think of it as...
No, some of them are like 10 pages, 12 pages, 15. And
but
I
it
guess
developed
topic. Yeah, it's,
because
I was speaking to someone now who is busy putting the content of the others that we haven't printed yet. I said the goal is to bring forward what the person said.
Yes.
We don't change their message. Because they gave that from the bottom of their heart.
And out of their knowledge.
Yeah, their knowledge.
Yes.
So it's like you have the core, beginning, but at the end of the day is what Mr. Jean Arnel said, what Mr. Baptist said, what Mr. Neil Henderson said, and what Mr. Imrum Maksud said. So we did insurance, banking, education, digital, and we just have our ears. Somebody asked me, how do you all come with that? We keep our ears on the ground. And we socialize and you look for what can that person add to it. So we are looking forward to the 24th annual Lionel Bernard Scott lecture. And there are official invitations that went out. And we do hope that officials make some time to come out and be part of the people. It's not an election year, and people might say, why should I say that? But I think you have to be among your people, and you'll be surprised to know what people know and how that can help you in your further service to your island.
Yeah, for a moment, the last time I attended, I thought I was overdressed, but I was a little surprised to see people smartly formal.
That's how it's supposed
which to be. I think was a compliment to the and certain amount of respect to as well.
But that's actually the core dress code is formal. But if you're reaching out to people from all walks of life, you don't know their situation.
Yeah.
And as Clayton said, you have to be dressed appropriately. Not with slippers. Even though I notice sandals have become a normal way, and a lot of people have challenges sometimes with their own health issues, but dress appropriately and respectful for yourself. So it is a formal business-like function. I think business is a better word. We don't turn back people. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you never know where that person is and what is at and what they need at that moment.
Quickly too, something I've seen some people who I never thought I would see as well.
Yeah, you see the privilege over the years when you look in the crowd, you see that there are people out there that are playing a significant role, but don't get the forum to be seen. Yeah. And strange enough, I had hairdress business-like for the mere purpose of really showing what you are made of. Business-like for some is a casual outfit, but business-like in the sense that this is a gathering or coming together of people of greater mindsets, and that you can rub shoulders, not within the context of your social groupings, but from the context of this open-minded program and society or group that caters an opportunity for people of many different walks of life to come together and exchange in discourse. So the title,
I think it has a way too of conditioning the mind of the attendees. I'm talking about.
Yes, and that's why one open line I'll state as coordinator: come and socialize and discuss.
Yeah,
and be respectful. And sometimes, like Mr. Moore, you are always on the radio, but not everybody know your face.
True.
The other day there was one, they say, oh, you are the teacher that used to work at Oranje School. They don't link the face to the voice. And I've heard this, not, being biased. we constantly hear it every year. When they come there, they feel comfortable.
Yeah, I was
And-
very much
Okay.
in a comfort zone, and it make you feel like you have found yourself in a grouping of elite people who have a bigger picture
And
of
from
a small
all levels.
community,
Yes.
and it's a real nice feeling.
In a
Thank you.
short statement, it's basically fostering integration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People being part of, feeling part of, and
Yeah.
contributing to the whole.
I think this can shape some people's mindset when it comes to how they see themselves within a St.Maarten and the contribution and they can make, despite how they think,
Yeah.
because
It's
it makes a world of difference. Well, okay, it costs nothing, folks. It's Wednesday afternoon or
And the
evening.
evening 7:30.
Yeah, at 7:30. You start on time. You're going to close the door like you did the last time.
No, the doors will be closed, but they are still open
Yeah.
because you knock or you just
Yeah.
open the door and come in.
Yeah.
We don't play. We are not playing closed doors politics.
Yeah.
And don't forget our socialization program thereafter. Where you sit, you have a sip and a chat,
Okay.
and you exchange what you may have heard or touch base with
Buy
someone
a book if you want.
that you have not seen in a while. Because St.Maarten, as small as it is, I mean, I played with words when I just got back from studies, and I said a big country's attitude and lifestyle within a small country's circumference. 36 miles between north and south, but the divide is so great that people goes to work and don't see each other for months.
36, you want to pinch off one?
I won't pinch off any
Can I
because we are
send-
bigger than the eyes meet.
Yeah,
St.Maarten-
but you said 36. Isn't it 37 square miles?
37.
37.
You want to
Yes,
pinch
you're right.
one off, man?
No, man, but you see
All
the
right.
two things here.
Can I just
the
put it
busyness
in
of
place,
life
huh?
has really chipped off a lot.
Yeah. I also want to put out a special invitation again to our brothers and sisters on the
North
Northern
side.
side.
northern side, because I know they too now are juggling with this language issue.
Yeah.
And I would really like them to be part
Yeah.
of it. And they have invitations, but it's for everybody, both
Okay.
sides of the island. Thank you.
Well, that's going to be it for People's Voice for today, folks. I'm sure that you enjoyed the interesting discussion, but more so that you're informed that the Lionel Bernard Scott Memorial Lecture Series will be held this coming Wednesday at 7:30, and all are invited as much as can hold in the room to be exposed to the language issue that is of general importance to all of us. Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. And thank you, my audience, for watching and for listening. We'll be back again next Sunday with an interesting program. So we invite you to join us then. In the meantime, enjoy what's left of your Sunday. You take care. Goodbye.